I believe we are live. I'm going to pop this up on my phone to just double check if we are. But if we are live, which I believe we should be, which let's check. We are. Let's see. King Nacho, I see, is in here. This is big. He is here. Let me just double check. Yep, we are live. Awesome. What is up, everybody? How are we doing today? We are live for the first time here on Suns Digest in 2025. We've done these streams previously before, but we only got one down. Then I had to work my other job, and then I kind of slacked on them. But we're bringing them back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be breaking down the Suns and going over this team as a whole over these last couple weeks, going over some of the news, kind of looking forward for this Suns team as well. I want to say shout out to everybody that is here for the inaugural stream on Suns Digest. If you guys are here, let us know down below in the comment section if you have any questions or anything you would like to discuss about this Phoenix Suns squad. But I did want to kind of go on live for a little bit, kind of break this team down and kind of go over and discuss them as a whole with all of you guys. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. As you guys know, we've had a lot of news revolving around this Suns team the last couple weeks, from Jimmy Butler news to the Bradley Beal benching, Yusuf Nurkic getting benched, Yusuf Nurkic getting suspended, this team dealing with all these injuries, this team trying to overcome so much offensively, defensively. There have been so many issues with this squad so far, and we've seen it ultimately show on the record. The Suns came out with a hot start to the season, but then ever since that big great win streak that they had where they started 8-1, they have completely fallen down and just have not been able to come back, regardless of its staying healthy, regardless of its quality play on the offensive side, quality play on the defensive side. This team just is not cutting it out and not providing enough for what Suns fans, including myself and you all at home, are expecting, and what Matt Ishbia is expecting, what James Jones is expecting, what Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, the stars on this team, is expecting. As we saw last year, this team beat a 6th seed in the Western Conference, and we saw that team look pretty miserable, not the greatest, still dealing with injuries, and they fell to the 6th seed. And now this is looking like a worst case scenario for Sun fans kind of going into this year. As we kind of gotten some updates and stuff from John Gambadaro, it's going to be very difficult for this Suns team to try to even make the play and make the playoffs if changes don't happen immediately, and stuff realistically is not going to fix internally. And the Suns do have a big game tonight. I know for everybody out on the West Coast, we are in the afternoon time around 3 o'clock at this very moment going live, and the Suns will be kicking off for you guys around 6. But for me, kicking off at 9 p.m. So obviously a little bit later here. But for the Suns, they got a big game versus the Atlanta Hawks tonight, which I think is going to be a key distribution to see how this Suns team really matches up. So let's get in and let's dive in and let's look at this. Like I said, we're on ESPN here. We're going to be looking at this Phoenix Suns team. And as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it has not been great. And if we want to look back, sorry, King Nacho. He did say grab a snack, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, grab that snack, get ready to go, because we are here on these lives with Suns Digest. Like I said, you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you guys would like to say down below in the comment section, let me know. But like I said, looking back at this Suns team, we've had a very weird month. We lost, obviously, to the Pelicans, a team who hasn't won in 40 days at this point, or maybe they've won since, but at one point hadn't won in 40 days, with this obviously L from the Suns here being that one victory. They lost to the Heat, lost to the Magic. These were awful games. They were able to beat the Jazz and were able to beat that Blazers team with welcoming back everybody in December. But then Pacers L, Pistons L, Nuggets L, Nuggets W on Christmas, which was big, but then Mavericks L, Warriors L, Grizzlies L, Pacers L, Sixers win. Oh, that was a bright spot, but that gets immediately wiped away with this atrocious Hornets loss. And I want to look back at this Hornets loss because we broke this down in a post-game video, but as you all know, I think this was kind of the tipping of the iceberg for a lot of Phoenix Suns fans. Going into this game, seeing Kevin Durant, seeing Bradley Beal, seeing Devin Booker not really been able to function and work that great this season has left a lot of Suns fans frustrated, including myself. But ultimately, with this Suns team, they haven't been able to play a lot of games together, which has been one of their hindrances staying together on this court. But even when playing together in recent games, they haven't looked great. And that's why Bradley Beal got sent to the bench in a recent motive. And in that Suns game, he played really good. But looking at this game here versus the Charlotte Hornets, it was absolutely atrocious. Look at this. Look at this. 29 points in the first half, first quarter, pretty good. 17 points in the second. That is unacceptable from a Phoenix Suns team, specifically with Durant, Booker, Beal, Ryan Dunn. I know you have an injury to Royce O'Neal, but 17 points, that is absolutely absurd. 37 points in the third quarter to try to bounce back, try to compete, but in the fourth, ultimately fell short and could not hold it out. And if we want to look at the team stats, I can show you exactly why the Suns weren't able to do anything. You want to look? Where is it? Rebounds. Look at these rebounds. 42 to 59 offensive rebounds. 8 to 20. That is so many second chance points for the Charlotte Hornets right here. So many extra chance points off of these key offensive rebounds where the Suns are able to stop them. And if we want to look, do they have second chance points on ESPN? I don't think they do. Oh, that's a bummer. Maybe in advanced stats they do, but we want to look at points in the paint. Suns outscored the Hornets in points in the paint. So even though the Suns were still able to grab rebounds with Nick Richards, which I was writing an article on Nick Richards in the last couple minutes here. So if you want to check that out on Last Word, I can plug that at the end here. But like I mentioned, we want to look, why is this like video basketball? Okay. Hit the wrong button. That we got rid of that. Thank you. I don't want that. All right. And I could fix it, but it's gonna get rid of my face, and then I don't want to lose people. Where is it? As we saw, Devin Booker, 39 points, played absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I wanted to look at Nick Richards here. Nick Richards off the bench, 12 rebounds, 15 points, plus 23. There's the difference maker right there, ladies and gentlemen. No one being able to stop him and take him off the boards, even with Mark Williams. And Mark Williams still had a solid game. 10 rebounds himself, minus 12, but still was able to control the glass. Let's look at the Suns rebounds. Let's look at this. Suns were obviously out rebounded, so let's look. Plumlee got 12. All right, Plum. That's it. That's it. Monte Morris 5. Monte Morris 5. Yusuf Nurkic off the bench. 3 rebounds. 3 rebounds. And this is what I'm telling, and this is what I'm talking about, Suns fans. This is what we need to have fixed first, honestly, in my opinion, is this center issue. And I'm going to have a video coming out about this since the Suns, did release a video on the Suns today. I had this live stream. I got a post game, guys, coming up for you guys tonight as well. I didn't have enough time to cook up another video, but I will be having a video coming out, dropping tomorrow, looking at the recent reports of the Suns being interested in Nick Richards and looking at some other possible centers as well that I think that they should be going after, because I wrote about some possible things. But like I said, Yusuf Nurkic, 19 minutes off the bench, 3 rebounds is not acceptable. Plumlee, I don't care if he had those 12 rebounds. It's acceptable, plus 15, but 0 points, and that 0 for 1 was the worst layup I've ever seen missed. That was absolutely atrocious. And like I said, you look at this Suns team, right? And you want to go back to this game versus the 76ers where they got the W, right? It was a big win. Everybody was like, "Oh, things are fixed. Bradley Beal, Suns were able to come back, right? Bradley Beal first game off the bench. Look at that. 25 points, absolutely electric, 10 for 15. You want to know why this was the case? Because the 76ers had no internal pressure. Paul George obviously had an awful game, but going against Gershon Yabusele in this inside was just way too easy for this team. And Adam Bona could just not stop anybody interior presence as well. That's why the Suns won this game. And not to mention, the Sixers had an atrocious shooting night as well. If you want to look at this game, 37% from the three, 39% from the field. The Suns just shot better as a team, and not even that great as well, as they still struggled. I mean, had good percentages, but throughout quarters, in that first quarter, look at that, 16 points once again for the Suns. Every game, it feels like the Suns have, sorry, every game, it seems like the Suns have one quarter where they just absolutely go silent, can't produce any offense, and that really, really hurts them. Or they have a quarter where they absolutely just let up everything from 3-point range, and they're winning a game going into halftime. And in that third quarter, they let up 40 points, and then they lose the game, which cannot be solved internally with this roster, has to be solved with making moves. And that's where Matt Ishbia and James Jones need to get on the line, because we've seen them say, oh, we're going to wait 10 games. Oh, we're going to wait 15 games. Oh, we're going to wait this amount of time. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, right now, the Suns have no time to wait. There is no time to be contemplating what we're deciding to do, trying to figure out what this team needs. The moves need to be done now. And we'll see from tonight's contest, as well as, like I mentioned, this team is taking on the Atlanta Hawks tonight. And this is going to be a freaking barn burner for the Suns. I'm telling you right now, they're going to go to this game. They are going to play at home. And they, as a Suns fan, they are favorites at -6.5. Don't necessarily know if they're going to win this game, ladies and gentlemen. This Hawks team has been very impressive, and this Hawks team has Trae Young, but it has some pretty solid defenders as well. And if a guy like Dyson Daniels gets on a player like Devin Booker and is able to limit him offensively, the Suns might be screwed in this contest tonight. Jalen Johnson can get off offensively versus this team combating against Kevin Durant alongside Trae Young on this offense. This team could be cooked. And not to mention, the Hawks, they have some great big men. Specifically, one big man that I would love for the Suns to be able to acquire, which they're unable to, in Clint Capella. But unfortunately for the Suns, with their movable, tradable stuff, they are not able to. But luckily for the Suns, Cody Zeller and Jalen Johnson are out tonight, so they don't even have to play with against Jalen Johnson, which is nice. And Onyeka Okongwu, Trae Young, and Bogdanovich are game time decisions. And for the Suns, there's only one person out on the injury report, and that's Royce O'Neal, who's obviously out with his ankle sprain, which hopefully he'll be able to return soon, because the Suns desperately need that shooting and that scoring off the bench. And Royce is a player that has been kind of brought up in trade rumors, but I would not entertain if I were the Suns. But let's get to some comments here, because I see some people chatting up as I was talking. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments as well. And these are two people that I regularly see on our channel on Suns Digest. So I want to say shout out to you guys for asking and being in here. But King Nacho has a question asking, does Booker KD ask out if Beal doesn't waive a no trade clause? And from what the reports I've seen, King Nacho, is that neither of them are going to ask out if Beal doesn't waive his no trade clause. I was kind of under the assumption, if this kind of thing doesn't realistically happen where they get Butler or they're able to move off Beal, is there going to be a sort of rebuild coming through? But through the reports I've heard from, talking in spaces with some people, D-Rock, and with Trevor Booth, and with also listening to PHNX Sports from Gerald Bourguet, I've been able to understand that the Suns are not interested, that Book and KD aren't interested in leaving at all. KD wants to stay in Phoenix. He wants to play with Book. Book obviously wants to be in Phoenix and wants to stay here. And that's kind of been the notion with this team, is that even if you wanted to do a rebuild, how do you trade Booker if Booker still wants to be here? And that's ultimately the case. He doesn't want to leave. Him and KD want to still stay teamed up, and they want to bring something to Phoenix. So ultimately, if they don't waive the no trade clause, if he doesn't waive the no trade clause this season, I see the Suns still trying to do something next year, even if this thing falls through, and still trying to keep this core together and trying to make a major swing move to keep KD on that extension. Big Merc is here as well. I want to say shout out to Big Merc, as he's also been in the comments for a lot of our recent videos, which is really appreciative. And both Big Merc and King Nacho have both been subscribers for a long time as well, not just recent subscribers that have come through with this new wave. So I do appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, saying what's up, King. Our center play is straight cheeks, bro. Exactly, Big Mark. And that's something that I'm going to be diving into a little bit more. I brought up in a recent video yesterday where I went over the Suns and Nurkic speaking out about some issues, where Nurkic spoke about his suspension, Nurkic, where he said he'd do it again. Nurkic obviously spoke up about the trade rumors, saying we're not just kids. And then Nurkic also spoke about some other things about being benched, saying nobody cares. And ultimately, I think that the Suns' center issues are their main catalyst here. Obviously, there are some other issues. The contracts, obviously, to Beal, to Nurkic, that's obviously issue one. Two, trying to move off of them with the no trade clause, needing some defense. But the center play still needs to be addressed. And I've been doing some writing and stuff like that, where I've been really addressing that fact that the center play does need to be addressed first, or if not even first, alongside with this Bradley Beal stuff. Because even if Bradley Beal trade does go through and nothing happens with the center core, the Suns are still screwed. Una with a bona, and that's pretty nice, King Nacho. Big Merc also saying, if Bud won't play Bol, we should trade him at least for a second round pick. And that's kind of the notion I'm kind of as well with it, Big Merc here. Honestly, that's how I feel. And I think there are a lot of centers that the Suns could go after, and one specifically, which we'll get into a little bit here. I'll kind of dive into a little bit for you guys as a little bit of a teaser special for being on the stream. But I realistically think that this is a much needed case. Bol has shown for the Suns a lot of things in his tenure, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But if the Suns are going to re sign him, want him to stay on this team, want to show potential, you have to give him playing time. And with Coach Bud just not giving him playing time or giving him sporadic playing time at this point, it's just a slap in the face and just a waste of a spot in my eyes for this Suns team, specifically one that needs help in that front court, in which Bol could be thrown into that front court. We just don't use him. Why are we not going to? If that is our number one issue, is having a starting caliber center with Mason Plumlee missing layups and playing in half of the games that he plays good, and half of them he looks bad as a starter. So why are we going to just keep throwing him out there or risk throwing Oso out there, who is good, has the potential to be a possible starting center in the future, but doesn't have the skill set as a second round pick at this point, which you can't blame him. He's a rookie. He doesn't have that untapped potential. He's not a future superstar for this league. He was a diamond in the rough that the Suns found, grew, and are very, very high on and believe in, but necessarily isn't going to be a starter next year. So how are you going to throw him in the gauntlet or expect Mason to be a 10 and 20 guy for you when he's in his end tail of his career? I don't understand why the Suns are holding a player like Bol Bol. They're not going to play him if they're not going to trade him. And I don't even think you need to trade him for a second round pick. There's one specific player, like I said, and I will mention his name right now. Duop Reith. He sits on the end of the Portland Blazers bench. He is a player who was a rookie last year at the age of 28, but was impactful for a rebuilding Blazers team. And with them having Robert Williams, and with them having not Yusuf Nurkic, excuse me, they used to have Yusuf Nurkic, with them having Robert Williams, them having Donovan Clingan, them having DeAndre Ayton, there is no need for a player in Duop Reith on that roster, and he sits on the end of the bench. And the best thing is, he makes $2 million. $2 million for this year and next year. You want to know who also makes that money? Bol Bol. And Bol Bol is a young enough player for a team. If the Blazers are interested in a player like Bol Bol, they would be like, we'll give him a spot. We'll give him potential. Last year they did that with Delano Banton. He has grown into a rotational player for this team. Bol Bol could be the next for that. And I know Suns fans would be pissed off. They'd be disappointed letting go of Bol Bol. So would I, because they would want to see this kind of development happen on this team. But I guarantee you they would be absolutely happy to see Bol Bol thriving and actually looking successful in the NBA than rather him rot on their bench and do absolutely nothing. And I guarantee you that. Sorry for the little rant, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh! No way! Yo! I gotta get this. So we do have, I will say, we do have a super chat for Celtics because I do make chats on Celtics, but I want to say shout out to TNEKM63 for the first ever donation on a Suns live stream and a live stream for me ever. Thank you so much, man. I've been doing this content on Celtics, on Suns, but this is absolutely great to see us getting some donations. I didn't even ask for this. First super on the live stream, on our first ever live stream. Shout out to you, man. If you have any questions, anything you would like to say about this Suns team, let us know down below in the comment section because you are the main superstar. Let me see if I can get. Do I know how to do this? Let's see. Do I know? I don't know if I know how to do it. 1 second. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to come back in 2 seconds. Don't worry. I don't have the hotkey yet, but it's here. We got some fire. Thank you so much for the donation. Absolutely fantastic. This is what we love to see. Thank you so much. I am absolutely amazed by all of this. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I've never received a donation. I've been doing streams. This is the first stream on Suns Digest. You drop a donation. We got to give the fire to you. If you have any question, anything you would like to talk about, let us know. This was absolutely huge. Thank you so much. TNEKM63. Wow. Sorry to cut you guys off. And I was on a little bit of a rant there going off on Bol Bol and why he should be played. But let's look back at these comments. Let's address some more stuff. Let's talk some more Suns. Hawks heavily shorthanded. Yeah, they are shorthanded. I didn't realize how shorthanded they were going in tonight with no Dalen Johnson. Can we do a player for draft capital under the second apron rule? So are you asking Big Merc if we can trade a yes, we can trade a player for draft capital. We can definitely send a player out of our team for draft capital to gain capital. And that's something I've looked at as well. I think the Suns, to acquire a player like Jimmy Butler, might have to do that themselves. They might have to send a player like Grayson Allen. They might have to send a player like Josh Okogie. They might have to send a player like Tyus Jones off this team to possibly be able to get um some movable capital. Excuse me, I just my mind went blank. Get some movable capital to acquire Jimmy Butler, because I do believe that this first round pick, that 2031 first round pick that the Suns do own, is just not enough for the Suns to be able to get a deal done. I truly believe that, and I think that is. They need extra draft capital. They need more firsts to move off a contract like Beal. So don't be shocked if the Suns, in the midst of all of this, move a player for draft capital to then get Bradley Beal or off this team, to then drop under the aprons to do a lot of stuff. I watch every video, my guy. I know Big Merc. That's what I'm saying. I see you in the comments all the time. I appreciate you and King Nacho. You both are in here. You guys are big supporters of the channel. Of course, of course. I love giving shout outs. Love giving shout outs. Ollie Wise is here. Ollie Wise saying, why not play Bol Bol? That's the main question, man. I don't know. You're asking something I really consider too. Ultimately, I think with Bol Bol, I think it's the frame. I think it's that he is a little bit skinny. He is in a position where he can play the 4, he can play the 5. He's a shootable big, so you could use him at the stretch, but do you want to run double big with no interior presence? That's the thing. When Bull has been in the lineup for the Suns, he has been very impactful, even of late. When he was in, I don't remember what game it was that Bull recently played in. Let me look up his stats here so I can pull this up. But there was one game where Bol Bol played in for the Suns recently where he was getting big time blocks, was hitting big time threes. Yeah, versus the Pacers it was. That was the last time that Bol Bol saw 12 minutes, 5 points across the board, 50. Why am I not showing this to you? Like I said, last time Bol Bol played 12 minutes, 5 points, 50% from the field, 30% from three with the rebound and 2 blocks, like I said. So he was impactful for the Suns team last time he was out on this court. So why does he not play? Ultimately, I think Bud may have a vendetta against him. Maybe he doesn't think he can be that ultimate rim protector with his smaller frame, but I would love to see a player like Bol Bol addressed and out there on the court for this Suns team all the time. A chat, let's get the likes up. Hey, thanks also for that, Ollie Wise. Let's see how many likes we got in the chat. I did not see that as well. You guys have been flowing it. 8 likes in the chat. 47 viewers, 8 likes. I agree with Ollie Wise. Let's like those likes up in the chat. Let's see if we can get the likes up to 10 or 15 in this chat. Let's see. Let's make a goal of 10. If you guys can get to 10, let's see, try to hit 15. If you guys can hit 15, that'd be even better, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try to keep this live going. Like I said, these lives are going to be coming once a week. The lives have started this week, but they will be coming once a week on Thursdays, and we'll be trying to get guests as much as we can on these lives. If there's anybody that you guys would like to have on as a guest, anybody you know that would like to be a guest on the show, let us know down below. I do some other work for the Suns, not just on Suns Digest, so I might be able to try to use some of my connections to try to get some people on this stream so we can have them as a guest. But like I mentioned, if you guys this is your first time tuning in, you guys do enjoy the content, these streams will be coming once a week. But if you guys want updates as well, make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let us know how you feel about this Suns team in this chat. Osa really has only the 8 floater in his bag. Yeah, offensively, that's what he's got. Hasn't really been able to stretch the floor as much for the Suns as I would like to see. But ultimately, I think he can be a developmental piece, and I think the Suns needing a center now is like a filler center for a year, 2, maybe 3. They don't necessarily need a uh, Andre, Joel Embiid type S guy. They don't need that type of guy, like they've said. They need a filler guy like Nurkic. Nurkic was the strikeout on the filler, and Isaiah Stewart, a Clint Capella. Those are the type of guys that I think the Suns should be looking to get. A Robert Williams, just a filler guy who can hold over for a couple seasons. Plumlee should only be a backup center when you decide to play him small ball. That's what I agree as well, Ollie Wise. I think Plumlee at this point of his career, when he was signed to this Suns team, he was viewed as a backup center and truly a tertiary center alongside Oso. And I think in the second half of the year, if the Suns were really solid and Nurkic was a solidified starting big with a fit, I think Oso could play up and take those secondary minutes from Plumlee, and then Plumlee would have fallen into that tertiary big for the Suns and been an injury replacement big. Maybe if you need more size defensively, you go with Plumlee. But I think that's kind of obviously, as we've seen with this team, been erased and kind of just been wiped out as he's now has to be the starting big, and that course has just changed it all. I think if Plumlee's still solid, and I think is right now being played in a role bigger than what the Suns thought he would play in, and is why the Suns fans are furious with him, including myself. I think that if Plumlee was playing the role that he was signed to play for this team, he would not be in as much turmoil with Suns fans, and he would be a very successful player for this Suns franchise. Wow, yeah, like I said, almost getting to the 15 likes, 14 likes right there, 49 viewers. This is absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you guys so much for our first stream of the year here. Absolutely fantastic, like I've been saying. But Plumlee, I think, like I said, should be like a secondary, tertiary big for this team, and could be still a tertiary big for this team in the future if they want to keep him long term, if he wants to stay in Phoenix and stay with this team. I would not be against that if the Suns address the center issues by moving off of Nurkic and keeping Oso and Plumlee for next year. Bol Bol only good in spurts. Can't really rely on him as a rotational player. I think he's just there for KD to practice against. Honestly, wow. I mean, you're not wrong about that, King Nacho. He's only good in spurts, which is true. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that's why he gets limited playing time. But I would just like to see those spurts be extended a little bit, just gifted a little bit more. Oh, another super chat. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely going to be getting the super chat graphic. Let me text my boss right now for the super chat graphic here because Chris Channel just got us another $5 saying, keep up the great work, Bruce. Go Phoenix Suns. And I want to say to you, Chris, thank you so much for your support, and you keep up the great work supporting us, because what I got to say to you all, guys, is that this channel is not successful without your guys' support, your guys' help, what you guys put forward through with this team. You guys show the support. You guys are the ones that are really paying attention, really diving in, really giving us all the support, and that's what is so needed. I can't be this beneficial without you guys tuning into the videos, hitting the likes, letting me know down below in the comment section what you guys ultimately think. And this is what helps me, because as a person who wants to be working in the NBA as my career, obviously wants to be doing this as a full-time job, this is just the building blocks. These are just the stepping stones, and you guys are ultimately helping me reach that true potential, regardless of what team it is or who I'm covering. I will always be a Suns fan to heart, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have been really, really giving over in this stream today. Absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Chris for giving us that super like. And like I said, shout out to TN for also giving us the super like earlier. Every game. And we got another comment from TM right here. Sorry, I've been really late to these comments because I've been going over everything and been discussing everything, but you guys are just flooding them in, which is great to see. And what is keeping this stream going? Every game, 5 different starters. Is it Coach Bud? That's also another question, TM, and I hope you still are here to hear this discussion. But that is also another question. A lot of people have been coming at Coach Bud, and that's the thing with this team is the coach has always been to blame. Frank Vogel was to blame last year. Now is it Coach Bud being tossed around? The Suns have always been nitpicky with their coaches, and it's what's led to the previous coaches being pushed out. And I think that kind of talk needs to stop. Is Bud the 100% perfect best coach? No. Is he the perfect fit? No. But is he a better fit for what the Suns can produce offensively? 100%. Is he going to be that coach for the long-term development of this team? Not necessarily, but I think he can be an impact coach for the offense, which the Suns desperately needed. As we saw last year, they fell apart offensively with Frank Vogel. And I think that he just doesn't have the right pieces and the right tools. This Suns roster, like I mentioned in previous videos, like I've mentioned in this live stream, has so many players that play the similar position. Look at the guard rotation. Tyus Jones, small undersized guard, can't play defense. Bradley Beal, smaller guard, can't really play that great of a defense, lacks on scoring. Devin Booker, smaller guard, is all right on defense, but isn't the best defensive guard in the entire league. Mainly knows in a scorer. Kevin Durant is effective a defender, 100%. Effective scorer, 100%. But what is he better at? Scoring. Look at that roster. Look at that team. You don't have all the pieces put together. Then you look at the backup guards. Grayson Allen, scorer offensively. Monte Morris, a little bit of a different breed. A little bit of a hustle guy, a little bit more do it all. Veteran player, a little bit of a different. Ryan Dunn, kind of similar. Offensively, defensively, he's more defensively pressured, but offensively, look at his offense so far. Scoring from the three-point range, is that just Coach Bud enforcing it, or is that an actual thing being happening? This team needs different archetypes. It needs a rebounding wing. Where's an Obi Toppin for this team? Where's a player like that who can seemingly sit and play alongside KD at that wing position where you can run KD small ball five, you can run KD at the three? Where is that option for the Suns? They don't have that. They have Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn. You need other looks. Where's our I want to give shout out to D Rock because he was preaching this in the spaces the other day. But where's an Alex Caruso? Where's a Lou Dort? Where's that primary defensive player in the guard rotation on this team? Where is that? We don't have that present. The Suns are filled with just the same archetypes of players, and unfortunately, they think that if they throw those guys out on the court with some minor defensive pieces, they can just shoot the lights out of the gym and outscore any opponent. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's not what's going to happen with this team. And when you have injuries as well, that severely limits your potential with the offensive shooters. That's where you run into problems. I necessarily think it is not Coach Bud 100%. Could he be an issue? Yes, but I'm not throwing the blame 100% on Bud. It's got to be on the players' accountability this time. Damn, I'd ride the pine anywhere for a minimum deal. Says Big Merc. Even at 41, I could still sit on a bench. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'd ride the bench anywhere as well. More live streams before games, just preview nights, matchup would be fire, dude. I'd show up and chill. Okay, okay, Big Mercs. Yeah, so the only thing that's tough with me with doing live streams and stuff like that, guys, is the reason I'm trying to do weekly lives is I do so much, much you guys probably don't know, but because I'm trying to do this full time, I do a lot of work. Not only do I do Suns Digest, I do Celtics Digest, I do writing for my own YouTube channel, I do writing for two other places as well, and I'm trying to get myself popular. So having all the free time, having all that availability to be able to just do live streams before games might be a little tough. Luckily today, it kind of fell in before a game, which was a little bit nice. And it's 3 o'clock, which I'm very shocked that we have this many people still in here at this moment, which is crazy to see for our first live stream. I'm gonna try to do, like I said, these live streams. These live streams are definitely going to stay. 6 o'clock startup time for me on the Eastern Coast, but 3 p.m. for you guys if you are out west. Obviously, for us here, these will be a staple, but maybe we can get some live stream games before game or after game or something like that if I am available. I don't think Bud knows to do with this roster and it's showing. See, that's what a lot of people are saying as well, Ollie Wise, and I kind of was going over that as well. If Jalen Smith was sticks, would Bol be picks as in toothpaste? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, we were talking about that. I remember I saw something about Tyrese Halliburton and sticks and stuff like that. Michael Hansen's in here as well. What's up, Michael? How we doing? Michael's in here. 15th like. What's up, Michael? Yeah, we got to that 15th like. Let's get it. Yeah. Let's go. 15 likes in the building, 44 viewers. Like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic chatting up in here, having a good time breaking down this Suns team. If you want to do a little bit more of a game preview, we can do a little bit more of that because I know um, uh, Big Merc was asking for that. Let's go back. Let's go back to the full screen here for all you guys if we want to do a little bit of a look through. Like I said, I think the Suns issues here, and shout out back to Chris for giving us that nice little donation. But like I said, I'm gonna get that super chat thing going up here so we can have that popping up for you guys when you guys do that. Because shout out to you all who did tonight. But like I said, Suns taking on the Hawks tonight. Very, very impactful game here for the Suns. Got to have that in pressure defensively. Go up against the guy in Clint Capella who I like, who can control the boards. Might have Onyeka Okongwu sideline, but should be a big game for the Suns. Offensively, you need to set the motion first. You cannot let Dyson Daniels get aggressive on a Devin Booker or a Bradley Beal and really stagger this offense. You need to be able to go at this team. And the Hawks primarily are not known as one of the better offensive teams. If we want to look at defensive ratings, NBA, right? Pull this up. Team defenses, we'll look at the stats. Now, obviously, this doesn't tell us everything, but if we want to look at defensive rating, we can see that the Hawks rank 20th and the Suns ranked 22nd. So both teams are not that great on defense here. And if we want to look at some other defensive stats like some defensive rebounding, we can see that let's see that the Suns actually out rebounded the Hawks defensively on averages. What about percentages? Uh, 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 they do out rebound them in percentage too. Okay, so as long as they can control the defensive rebounds and limit their offensive second chance points, then that would be great. Let's see. Suns are good at doing that compared to the Hawks. So hey, maybe the Suns can get some nice offensive rebounds, be able to bounce back, have players like Yusuf Nurkic be able to really help this team succeed. Hopefully tonight, maybe Bradley Beal can have a little bit of a wake up call in a bounce back game once again. But if we truly do see Bradley Beal and this Suns team collapse, really fall to this Atlanta Hawks team, wave the white flag, ladies and gentlemen, because it's getting worse and worse for the possibility of even making the playoffs. I'm going to pull up this right real quick because I want to show all of you guys this. But where's John Gambadaro? Shout out to Gambo. Always providing us Suns fans with the good juice. But if we want to look at Gambo's Twitter, we can see, here it is. This is what I want to look at. Math. Here we go. So, based on the 2023 and 2024 season, you would need 46 wins to get into the play-in tournament. The Suns currently are 16 and 19. They have played 35 games and there are 47 games left. To get 46 wins, the Suns need to go 30 and 17, which means they would to get which in their remaining 47 internally with no changes after going 16 and 19. Not going to happen. The sixth seed last year was Phoenix with 49 wins, and for them to get 49 wins, they need to go 33 and 14. That is a pipe dream. Okay? Now let's look at the NBA standings here. All right? Because we'll pull this up. We'll have a nice little discussion about this. Also, shout out to everybody still in the stream. 47 people. You guys are absolutely killing it. On Celtics, I get like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. On Celtics Digest, I have I think almost triple the amount of subscribers I have here on Suns just because I've been doing it for a little bit longer. And I get 5 to 10 people in the stream and have to end it after 20 minutes. You guys completely outdid them with one pushing the time limit, but two giving comments and donating. So Suns community, A1, stand down. I'm appreciative. But let's look at this Western Conference. Because as we can see right now, the Spurs are tied with the Kings at 10th. Now, obviously, the Suns aren't that far. Like, out of the 8th seed, they are only 2.5 games back. It is clawbackable. It is possible for this team to, to fight their way back. But realistically, they'd have to get lucky with other teams to deal with injuries. They have to still make changes. They still have to address stuff, regardless if it's Jimmy Butler still getting added, looking at a center, any key center that can be impactful for this team. And then you still might need some bench pieces still addressed because all depends on what you have to give up. If you have to move other pieces to get draft capital, if you have to trade a Grayson Allen, you have to trade a Josh Okogie, you still need that shooting. You still need that primary defense off the bench. You can't just trust Ryan Dunn and Royce O'Neal. So ultimately, even if the Suns still make these moves, the Suns aren't a championship contender team this year. Unfortunately, you want the harsh reality. That's the truth. You watched the Cavs Thunder game yesterday. You're going to tell me that this Suns team can compete with any of those on that level, even if they make moves with their limited roster capabilities and draft capital? I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. Maybe next year, this season, the most you're asking for is to make the playoffs and to be an entertaining playoff team. Maybe win one playoff series compared to last year, at least not get swept. But that's what we're looking for as Suns fans. That is what we realistically are looking for at this moment. That's the reality. And next year, when you have Butler, when you have Durant, you get them both to sign extensions. Hopefully, you're not in the second apron with both of those extensions and the rest of your roster. And then you're able to make moves around the edges. Then you're able to offload a contract to Yusuf Nurkic if you still have him on roster, potentially have to move a player in Ryan Dunn to get an upgrade. That might be the cost of this Suns team going in it all right now to build around Booker, Butler, and Durant. You might have to lose a Tyus Jones. You might have to lose Grayson Allen. You might have to be acceptable with that. Let's look more at the comments. Really enjoy watching you. Thank you, Michael Hansen. I appreciate that, man. I really, really do appreciate that. That. I appreciate you coming out to the stream and tuning in. It's hard to put into words followers as supporters because I do this in hopes that it breeds me to obviously more and more, but I really do appreciate all the love and support recently. The last couple of weeks on Suns Digest has been ridiculous. not just from the new influx of followers, but from the consistent amount of people that have still been around, still tuning in, still giving us your love and support. It's really appreciative. Charlie B is here. Charlie B says this team simply isn't physical enough, not strong or aggressive enough under the basket or on defense. And that's another key thing as well is with this Suns team, you look at them offensively, you look at them defensively, there's glaring issues. Offensively, sometimes they look like they can't score, sometimes they can't buy a basket. Defensively, they can't do anything either. 1 second. Get out of my room. Sorry, my dog just came in here. But like I was saying, defensively, they need to be strong. They need to be aggressive. They need to be physical on the defensive end. And in that center group, they are not. You look at Yusuf Nurkic, he is just letting people go up against him, easily scoring bodies. You look at this team against plentiful of other bigs across the league. The Hornets don't have dominant. I mean, Nick Richards is solid. He's really good, very impactful. Would be better than any center on our team. It's not like Nick Richards is a top 15 center across the NBA. That he's not. So the fact that those type of bigs can still give this pressure to this Suns team and still show us how embarrassing it is, come on, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's keep reading. Let's keep seeing. Agreed, Charlie. I'd be feeling like me at 36 with bum knees would show more effort than defense than they have last year. And that's the thing. That's one thing the fans have been really, really concerned about is the effort as well. I haven't even mentioned that, but you watch this Suns team, you watch them defensively, 3 point line, they're just letting everybody shoot, not stepping up. And you can tell in the body language too. And I know multiple people have mentioned this and talked about this, but they don't look happy. Look at the last game from a couple games ago. I think it was the loss versus the Pacers, I believe it was when Durant and Booker were smiling, having a good time while Bradley Beal was not engaged in the timeout. Like that was the clear issue of effect right there. And then boom, it just keeps on sparking, keeps on going. And it's just ridiculous. Not even just that, but defensively, they show no effort in the big man group, just lackadaisical. And sometimes they do show that effort. Sometimes you do see it randomly. I don't understand why versus the Dallas Mavericks this season. They just decide to play the best defense of their life and allow them 93 points. The only thing is when they do those type of things, they then just can't buy a bucket themselves. Can't even they're shooting it from right under the basket and they still can't make it. And Charlie's saying we need more than Butler. It's probably for a time if we rebuild, if you still have the valuable assets. That's the thing. That's where a lot of people have kind of risen questions really asked. But Booker doesn't want to leave. Durant doesn't want to leave. There's no rebuild in sight. It is kind of just retool on the fly and try to manage to do it as best as you can, which is tough. And I still wish we never made trades we did after making the finals. And that's the thing too with this Suns team, and which is really restricted them is these moves. And many people will look back at it and some people say it's the fault of the Kevin Durant trade, which is definitely not. But that's the one trade Matt Ishbia did well on. It was getting Kevin Durant. But you look at the Bradley Beal trade, moving off of Chris Paul's contract. Yeah, was Chris Paul getting older? 100%. Was he worth $40 million? No. Was he coming off an injury-prone season the year previous? 100%. But going out and getting Bradley Beal as that replacement, once again, someone who's a scorer, needs the ball in his hand, and plays a very similar skill set alongside Booker and Kevin Durant, and you're giving up so much additional draft capital for a no trade clause was an extreme red flag and an immediate X right there. And back then, when this trade happened, I was making TikToks and not working on YouTube or doing anything like that. And it was my college graduation party. And I remember walking into my mom's car and absolutely screaming into my phone, yelling about this Bradley Beal trade because that is the countertop and legitimately ridiculousness cornerstone right there. Now, you could argue that, yeah, Chris Paul's contract, they had to move it for someone. Beal was the only one possibly available, yada, yada, yada. I'm not believing that crap, man. You're telling me that there's no other team across the league that would have taken Chris Paul? There's no other team across the league that would take an NBA veteran that's really solid, that once again has had this notion on his career when he was on the Houston Rockets, when he was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh, he's washed. Oh, he's not good anymore. Oh, yeah, he's done. And then look what he does. He brings that team to the playoffs and rebuilds that team on the fly like that, and then gets shipped to Phoenix. Then what happens? He goes to Golden State. He doesn't have a good season. And now look at him in San Antonio. In an actual right fit, he looks good. You're telling me the Suns couldn't figure out a deal like that? Come on. DeAndre Ayton mess, that one, I thought Nurkic would be good. Grayson Allen, that looks like a fair trade on paper. You needed to get off DeAndre Ayton. But the Bradley Beal deal should have been avoided at all costs. And if they were looking for a third start, should have never been a third scorer. Trust me. Should have kept Valley Boys and drafted Luca. Yep. Your sound is glitching in and out. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry if it is. Let me see. If they were looking for a third start, should have kept Valley Boys and drafted Luca. I don't know why it's cutting in and out. Let's see. You can hear me again because I'm trying to figure out why it's cutting in and out. So sorry. Specifically, Bridges, we gave up a bag on that one. Well, yeah. Well, Bridges and Johnson obviously have looked as quality role players. And if you look at this team without making the Durant deal, like it would still be a valuable team and would still be good. But ultimately, if you don't do that Durant trade, are you really pushing the needle to do anything? Like you could still use those picks to trade for other pieces. I still think in the hindsight, it's not awful. You're awesome, dude. Keep up the hard work. Thank you so much, Big Merc. I appreciate you so much, man. Like I said, I've seen you on these comments. I've seen you in the channel for multiple months, not even just over the last couple recent weeks. So I appreciate you so much for being here, man. Chatting with us up. Same thing as King Nacho. Everyone grab another snack. Yeah, you got to grab those snacks, baby. You already know that's my catchphrase. We should give up an anatomy instead of bridge. We should have gave up Aiton instead of Bridges. Well, that would have been nice, obviously, to be able to do, but I don't necessarily know if Brooklyn would have wanted Aiton or how they could have figured it contract wise. Real leaders would have grabbed Aiton up and straight him in the locker room, play it through. Well, that's the thing too, is like Aiton's not having the worst season this year as well, but the one like the I think with Aiton it was more a coaching issue, right? Was it more a Monty Williams issue with DeAndre Ayton in the front office and stuff like that? So I think that was more like an internal thing, and it just doesn't work out. My also like small little tidbit on that too, which if you really want to go down my son's tunnel, here it is. The Suns going to the play-in tournament was great because, or not the play-in, the bubble was great because they obviously went on that 8-0 run. They obviously got to put on a nice show, get CP, kind of kickstart this push to the finals, but it really rushed this DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, duo that could have formed as Ayton was then, thrusted into the spotlight of having to, I know, number one overall pick, high task, he should be asked to do this, but was asked to be a number two option, number three option immediately as his sophomore year. And for a big who looked dominant in college, but probably needed a little bit more development time alongside Booker to gainer the maturity and the understanding of how to be an impactful big, I think was rushed a tad bit into this push with this Suns team to where he needed some development and was just thrusted into a championship caliber team, was not qualified, was not ready to go. And ultimately, is that the Suns' fault? No, they wanted to push. They were in that moment. They felt confident with how they looked in that bubble run. But in my opinion, I have no idea what's wrong with my audio. I don't know what's wrong with my audio. You guys are saying that my audio is messing up. Let me see. I'm trying to see what it is. It's working fine on this end over here. It sees that it's coming in. Trying to fix it. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if that fixed it. Is that why I'm seems to be working? Hoping that fixed it. Hopefully that works. We got another comment from TNKM, which is I really feel like having the big three on the floor at the same time doesn't work. Next man up, Beal bench to relieve Book or KD. Yeah, you give Jones or done the rest. Yeah, well that's the thing. The Suns are have benched Beal. They have gone through with that already, and I think that's a very smart understanding of what this team needs to do. It was also maybe a little bit of a sentiment or a telling to Bradley Beal, like, hey, maybe you should waive that no trade clause. Maybe we should get this thing kind of rolling and stuff like that. But ultimately, I don't really know. jump off the live and go back and chat. Mine's good after doing that. Okay, well that's good. That's good. I'm hoping that's fixed. And like I said, guys, this is the first stream. I've done streams before, but I'm not I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been doing YouTube and talking basketball on a platform at least for a little over a year now. So I don't necessarily know all the everything to do with technology and how to do all this. So if you have any options, ideas, I appreciate constructive criticism. So any criticism you guys have, drop it down below in the comment section to make the stream better. Try to figure things out. Try to be it more inclusive. For this type of stream, like I said, I just wanted to kind of break down the Suns, kind of answer questions, have fun, and that's what these types of streams are going to be on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're just basically going to go over the Suns, break down their last week, kind of go over this week. We kind of went over the Suns as a whole for this stream because it was the first inaugural stream for this one. But like I said, we're going to be going over like their plans for next week, stuff like that. And I'm going to try to have as many guests as I can on here. With Suns Digest, we are, looking for people too. So if you know anybody, but we are going to be trying to get as many guests here as well on here from other companies and stuff like that on the channel. So if you guys have any suggestions, anybody that you guys, that makes Suns content on YouTube, Suns content on articles or anything like that that you guys would like to see, if I can possibly try to get them on my stream, I will reach out to them and try to get them here. And we'll definitely reach out to some people individually myself to try to get them on to kind of discuss, break down, kind of go more in depth, more into detail about some of these Suns integral issues, and we can kind of focus some streams on that if we get to that true point. But like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate everyone coming out to the stream and hanging out, kind of breaking down this Suns team. It's been absolutely fantastic. Lindsey Smith, I'd love to have. I know Lindsey. Lindsey unfortunately doesn't follow me. I don't know if I can get to that connection, King Nacho. But if I could, trust me, I'll definitely try my best. I'll definitely try my best. But I do want to say that you guys have been absolutely fantastic. You said came in late. Did you say Aiton was thrown into a championship team? I did not. I think you missed a little bit of what I was saying, so I can go back on this, James, and kind of comment on it. I was saying that with this Suns team, going to the bubble and winning with that 8-game win streak and obviously then securing Chris Paul, it pushed this team into a win now team, a team that was, pushing for a championship and competing. We saw this team obviously go to the finals in 2021 following the bubble with this type of roster. So in my honest opinion, I do believe that when DeAndre Ayton was drafted to this team, the Suns weren't in that mode. Before the bubble, they were, I believe, ranked 11th, 13th in the Western Conference. They barely made the bubble, and that bubble run was what made them kind of see the incentive of, hey, we can win with this team, we can push with this team, let's go out and do it now. Now, ultimately, I do think that hindered DeAndre Ayton's development with this Suns squad because I do think that if the Suns didn't get invited to the bubble or the Suns, didn't go on the 8-0 win streak, then DeAndre Ayton would have had a little bit more time to grow with this team. I don't think the Suns would have initially went out and gotten CP3 if they didn't go on the 8-game win streak. I think they would have still played their cards a little bit passive. Even if they weren't invited to the bubble, they definitely would have played their cards passive if they felt they still were building, and still would have played alongside Booker and Ayton, kind of welcoming those guys, getting those guys a little bit more ready to go, maybe even being more of a surprise team in the Western Conference, and then that trade deadline maybe going and making a big swing move. Necessarily, I think that big run led them to go into this championship kind of window and kind of push for it, which may or may not have hindered Ayton's development with this team. Yes, has Ayton not been Ayton's got to move to Portland. He hasn't done anything really either. So as a number one overall pick, he obviously had high expectations. He didn't live to them, but that's just kind of my synopsis. We got Big Parks 10X saying, can the Suns get Beef Stew? That's one of the guys that I would love for the Suns to get. But ultimately, I think there's a lot of issues kind of running into that. One, he makes around $14 million, which if the Suns were able to trade Grayson Allen, they would be able to acquire a guy like Beef Stew, which could be a possible move. Grayson Allen for Isaiah Stewart, 1-for-1. The only problem is with Detroit is they are a very solid team in the Eastern Conference. They are in the play-in race, in the playoff race, with Cade Cunningham really leading this team. And Isaiah Stewart has been their key center and big man. Jalen Duran has been there as well, but hasn't been that great on the defensive side for this Detroit Pistons team over the last couple years. Kind of lost that step from his rookie year, and Isaiah Stewart has been that beast down low in the paint for that Pistons team. So I truly believe that Isaiah Stewart is a guy that the Pistons don't want to move off of, but if he does become available, that is one of the guys that I think the Suns should really, really hone in on. Before we sign out, I do want to let you guys know that if you guys want to check me out anywhere else, I do make content for 2 other places on the Suns. First, oh, well, that's not good, but I write for Last Word on the Suns, where you can check out all my articles on the team. Why did I do it this way? Let me go this way. This will be faster. The link tree will be faster. So, like I said, I contribute for Last Word, where I write for the Suns, and I also contribute for Brightside as well. So if you guys go to any of these websites, either Last Word or Brightside of the Sun, and still want more Suns content, not in written form, some stuff that maybe I don't talk about on the channel as well as it's different type of content, you guys can go check that out as well alongside this Suns Digest channel. But like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic here today. Ayton needed a strong locker room veteran center, PJ Tucker type. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Charlie B. He needed time to grow. He needed time to mature into that center to be ready for this Suns team. And unfortunately, with that bubble run, it kind of pushed him into that run to be ready to go and be that type guy when he ultimately wasn't. And it's not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, it has hindered this team, obviously, but like looking back on it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. The Suns got to make it to the NBA Finals. They gave their fans this push. They've got Kevin Durant, and they're still in this type of scenario, all because of going in for that all-in move. So I'm not mad about it at all. We could still be at the bottom of the Western Conference, but like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. This was an absolutely fire first stream for here. Like I said, these streams are going to be around an hour long today. Hit around that hour mark because you guys were absolutely fantastic. I didn't even think we get to this hour mark today. You guys hitting that like button. Let's see how many likes we got before we end the stream. 22 likes. Absolutely fantastic. 22 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. So many super nice comments. We got 2 live chats as well. I want to give a shout out back to those guys in Chris's channel and TN Eckham 63. You guys are absolutely the best. I really, really do appreciate every single one of you guys who was in the channel, who was hanging out with us, breaking this down, and talking everything Suns this afternoon. Like I said, we're going to be going live every single Thursday at this time, breaking down everything Phoenix Suns. So if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe button. If you want to check out other Suns content, we did have a video going up today talking about some shocking Jimmy Butler trade updates and some Bradley Beal stuff as well. We have some more stuff coming out over the next couple days as well. We'll have a post game covering the reactions to the Suns versus Hawks game tonight. So if you want to make sure to stay up to date on everything, make sure to hit the like, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm Bruce Veliz. You guys have been absolutely fantastic in this first stream, and I can't wait to get many more cooking up with everybody here. I want to give a shout out to everyone who was in the chat today that was commenting. Big shout outs to Charlie B, Ollie Weiss, King Nacho, James Johnson, Big Mark, and Michael Henson. I don't want to make sure I miss anybody, and my boys who obviously T Netcom and obviously Chris's channel for donating. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully the Suns can pull out a nice victory and we can have a nice post game. But if not, it might be another little rage-tastic. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Once again, peace out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys soon.